Hi, Muchismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share the video if you found it helpful. Give it a thumbs up. Pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I would appreciate that. You, the empath, grows in your isolation. The narcissist withers away and dies in isolation. Now, a lot of the isolation from an empath is on purpose. It is not just by circumstances, it's by choice. That's our happy place. Narcissists, not so much so. If they had it their way, they would not dare be in isolation. They don't like isolation. They can't be alone. Not for long anyway. Now, there's a time when they're in isolation, when you rip them a new butthole, when you bounced in the way that I bounced, and you've exposed them to third parties. Just one, her brother. You get ahead of them. They've already smeared you beginning when you meet them, but when you woke up, they didn't anticipate that, so they don't got a backup plan. Now, they have these new supplies. They already got them hidden, but you have to understand, with COVID, that was by circumstance too. This is why so many narcissists were exposed. This is why so many empaths woke up during COVID period, the shutdown. Talked about this years ago too. There was a very high number of homicides and domestic violence during the COVID shutdown. Now, far and wide, I believe most of it was attributed to the fact that people had to live within close proximity to one another and get to know each other in a way that they thought they knew each other before. You know, we were happily in love, we thought, because the husband went to do what he wanted to do and the woman could do what she wanted to do. The kids were going their way. But when that shutdown happened, it was almost like that family was in prison together. And then you found out quick how much you didn't really like that person like you thought you wasn't in love like you thought you were. Because now there was some work to be done. You had to really search deep down within yourself to analyze what is it I like about this person. Because you were looking at them and scrutinizing them, and they were annoying and irritating you right and left. Now, I didn't have that situation. You know, I have a pretty chill kind of situation with my twins. And I'll tell you, we were doing things as a family before that happened, and we had a fairly healthy communication and appreciation for one another. And these type of families didn't struggle as much as there was tension with everybody, because nobody wanted to be shut in every day. We felt like we were incarcerated. But to that point, imagine the narcissist who always had to be on the go. They was always running around. They had these new supplies that they couldn't get to. They had to sneak around under cover of darkness when their partners were asleep and were going on that computer. A lot of them were getting exposed, leaving the computer on. They were so tired at night, early in the morning, would forget to log that computer off. A lot of wives discovered the extramarital affairs. And these weren't all narcissists, but there was a pervasive amount of narcissists that were being exposed. We know this. And from that point on, God just began to expose things right and left. And he is still exposing things 6 years later. And so back to that isolation, that was circumstance. You and I, we can isolate on purpose. As a matter of fact, we often do. But when we awakened narcissistic personality disorder, we went into deep isolation because nobody knew about this like we did. And if you got the right information and you connected with it, you resisted the fact of continuing to tell people what you had discovered. You know, when I first woke up, I was telling a few people, and I since now know a lot of those people I told were narcissists themselves. So once it goes out in the universe, you can't take it back. Oops. But for the most part, our isolation, we know in our isolation, we stay tight-lipped. We don't need to express and explain how bad that person did us. You and I know how bad they did us. God know how bad they did us. So now we're just focused on trying to elevate and educate ourselves and raise our vibrations. So in our isolation, we're steadily on the up, up, up. So when a narcissist, because of the circumstances that you put them in when you escaped and woke up and bounced, you forced them into an isolation away from you. They couldn't get to you. And you being a primary source of energy and fuel, now they've had to resort to that secondary or that third dairy, if that's a word, because they had multiples. But you have to understand, they were running around under cover of darkness behind your back with these intimate partners at work. And it was easy to do it then because they could always come back to home base. But there is no home base now. They're left with themselves. So now they have to reach out to these new supplies in times where it's not convenient for that new supply. Because the new supply most often has somebody, he has a whole relationship. She has a whole husband, whole boyfriend, whole girlfriend. And so the narcissist female is blowing his phone up. He can't even answer his phone like that because that's uncommon to him. This is not the way it's supposed to be. This is not what we agreed upon. So what she's doing, that narcissist female, is forcing him to have to alter his life in a major way. So what he ends up doing, either blocking her or dodging her. This is how they are forced to be isolated. Yet, while they're still going out to the malls, going to the store, going wherever they can to try to scavenge energy and fuel. They're running into gas stations randomly, striking up conversations with total strangers just to top off their energy. You ever observe somebody just, I engage, empaths were just that type of person. We've never met people a person that we didn't like or we just hated because of the energy that we carry. We give off what we want to get back. We don't always get it back, but you get the point. So they're running randomly in the stores. Like I say all the time, you'll get a narcissist who will dress up, put their makeup on, put their drip on. They'll put everything that they can muster and prepare to get dressed to go to Walmart and argue over a 50-cent gift or a 50-cent item at the return desk. Because they need to create chaos in order to top off or to bring them back up to where that dark energy needs to be. You're no longer there, you're gone. So even more so now they're accelerating their chaos. But they're accelerating at a speed that they didn't anticipate having to accelerate it because they're having to work. And that's something the narcissist just does not want to do. Work for their fuel. They want it given to them. And when you came along, you provided it without them even asking. So now they have to look for it through other measures. It's not as easy as they once had it. And another thing is because God has exposed this word and he's made it so visible that even on mainstream TV, you hear it. So nobody's unawares of this word. There are a few people that are still on the rock, but for the most part, there are people waking up on a daily, hundreds, if not thousands. There may not be an awakening like you and I have had. They're becoming aware. It's in their consciousness. So therefore, they're paying attention. So narcissists can't just easily get up under somebody like that because people start seeing different behaviors. And even though they don't really right way know that this is what you and I know, they know there's something funny about this person. They know this person is not the kind of person that they want to spend time around. So you shut down or shut them out, or they'll give them some lame excuse like, hey, I gotta go. It's nice talking to you. You leave them standing, leave them hanging. You and I as empath, we're not that put off if somebody is talking to us 1 minute and the next minute they abruptly say, you know, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta go. That conversation that we're sharing or we're exchanging with them, we're okay with that because we got a whole life. We got a whole world we're living in. And we make our own fun. And that fun might not look like fun to a lot of people. It may not even involve anything exciting as far as most people's eyes can see. But it's contentment. The empath, we in our isolation have contentment. And that's something the narcissist will never experience. Even when they're living in a wealthy mansion with all the bells and whistles, with a maid, a butler, best wife, best husband, beautiful kids, best schools, don't really have to work, just spend the credit card. Well, not even that extreme. They could just be somebody that has everything in life that most of us dream or aspire to have. But they don't have peace. So therefore they don't have contentment. You must understand this, guys. You're further ahead than the narcissist ever could be. You may think they took off with this, that, or the other. Oh, well, it happens. And I know that's not easy for you to digest or accept, but they didn't take your life. Your life means more than anything they ever could have taken. Sentimental or not. The one I married took our Social Security cards, birth certificates, and all of these sensitive documents. I was enraged at first. I ain't gonna lie. It was a principle there. That was the lowest of the low. But after weeks went by, I didn't focus on that. I just focused on the education because I was learning so much of what these people are. And the more I learned what they are, the less angry I was. That's why I say it's vital, man. Get the information, get the education and insight of what these people are on a daily, on a regular. Don't get burnt out on it. But I'm telling you, man, stay in tune and stay connected to this stuff because you will encounter these people some way, shape, or form for the rest of your life, somewhere or another. But if you're unawares, if you're in the presence of them, how are you going to know how to react or respond? There may not even be a response at all that you have to give if you're aware. You may even, the more aware you are, the more educated you are, you may know right way that you don't even need to respond. You just need to stare. You may just need to ignore. You may just need to give them a solemn, stoic look. And that is all it takes sometimes. Because they can read you. They can read that you're saying not today or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. They know they can't get in. And so in your isolation, you grow. In the narcissist isolation, they wither away and literally die while they're yet breathing. They're breathing the air that God gives all of us, but they're withering and dying right before your eyes. That being said, bless.